Meeting come to order.
Let's have this meeting come to order.
All right, you can go back to that if you want. That was Elijah Torado. He is one of our guests up here today, so we thought it's only appropriate for our youth to open up the meeting, and then we do have a senior one that is also representing our military. We will get to him in just a sec there. So we're excited that y'all are part of Military Kids Day. Y'all have a full agenda, many of you out there. And today we're going to hear 4 bills, and we're going to honor a distinguished guest here in just a sec. But at this time, we will go ahead and Elijah's already called us to order. So Madam or Mr. Secretary, let's make sure we have a quorum here.
Representative Blanton. Representative Dossett. Representative Duplessis.
Here.
Representative Freeland.
Present.
Representative Fugit. Representative Gentry. Representative Gooch.
Present in my annex office.
Thank you. Representative Hart.
Here.
Representative Cook.
Here in the room.
Representative Lewis. Representative Maddox. Representative Massey.
Here in the room.
Representative Minter. Representative Sharp.
Here in the room.
Representative Stevenson.
Here in the room.
Representative Tackett Lafferty.
Present in the room.
Representative Wesley. Representative Wheatley.
Here.
Representative McCool. Chair Thomas.
Here in the room. Yeah. Okay, we made it. And I do want to apologize. What you see is people, they love the military in here, and they want to be here. Unfortunately, 10 o'clock is the exact same time with A&R, which has some important issues financially to discuss. So they're meeting at the exact same time we are. And so you will see committee members come in and kind of take a vote and then leave and go back there and take a vote. So a lot of us are on multiple committees. So with that, sir, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? And then if so, let's remain standing. And I've asked Representative Tackett Lafferty to lead us in prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. God bless America and the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Please send hope and healing to all those who have been tragically affected by the coronavirus, severe flooding in eastern Kentucky, and deadly tornadoes in western Kentucky. Please bless our honored veterans, our military, our police officers, our firefighters, and all those first responders who have committed their daily lives to serving and protecting us. May they always know how much we appreciate them, and may they never grow weary of doing good. We also pray today for our governor and our leaders. May they always be filled with servants' hearts and seek the courage and the patience to work together to do what's right for Kentucky. And last but not least, I pray that all, in good times and in bad, find comfort in a relationship with you. May they bring you their blessings and their burdens, and may they see the path of prosper that you have planned for them. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All righty. Well, we have an exciting agenda today. We have a lot of military kids here. Right now, we have a distinguished guest that I'm going to turn it over to Representative Massey to introduce you, and we are so glad that's why we brought such a big crowd, is to honor you in a sec, sir. So go ahead, Representative Massey.
Thank you, Chairman. This is truly a momentous occasion for me personally. We get to do a lot of neat things in our roles as legislators, but having the opportunity to meet Mr. Basset has truly been one of the most rewarding things that I've had the opportunity to experience. James E. Ted Basset was born in Lexington, Kentucky, And, he wanted to get a higher education, so he went to Kent School and Yale University. He served as an infantry officer in the 4th Marine Regiment, 6th Division during World War II. That's just the start. Twice wounded during the Okinawa campaign, he recovered and participated in the initial landing by Allied forces on Japanese shores. He was awarded the Purple Heart and the Presidential Unit Citation. So we have a valid, true hero here, a World War II person that served in World War II. And not only that, and I'm going to get to this at the very end, but he's here today as a centurion because he's 100 years old. That alone would be worthy of him being here among us today, but that's only the beginning of what was a just instrumental life and continues to be an instrumental life here in Kentucky. Following the war, he became a newsprint salesman based in New York, and he subsequently returned back to Kentucky where he was a tobacco farmer for 3 years, and then he was appointed as Kentucky's Deputy Director of Public Safety. From 1963 until 1967, he was Director of the Kentucky State Police, and that is why we have so many troopers here with us today. He served major roles in improving the public perception and appreciation of state troopers and increasing their pay and benefits, and was one of the founders of the College of Justice and Safety at Eastern Kentucky University. What's not in this bio that I'm going to tell you is he was the person that coined the phrase, the thin gray line. He also was the person that was responsible for making our troopers one of the most recognized groups in the nation with their uniforms and their gray patrol cars. He began working for Keeneland after that because that just wasn't enough. And from 1968 until 1986, he was at Keeneland, initially as the assistant to Louis Lee Hagen II. In 1969, he became the president of Keeneland, and he served in that capacity until 1986 when he became the chair of the board. In 2003, he became a Keeneland trustee, and he now holds the title of trustee emeritus. The entirety of his Keeneland tenure currently spans 42 years and coincides with the association's greatest period of growth. He also, and it's not in this bio either, has a book called Keeneland's Ted Basset about his accomplishments while at Keeneland. But again, we're not through this yet. From 88 to 96, he also served as the president of the Breeders' Cup. He was chairman of the World Series Racing Championship from 1999 to 2004, and he remains a Keeneland and Breeders' Cup director and member of the Jockey Club. He is a past president of the Thoroughbred Racing Association of America and formerly served as a trustee of the National Museum of Racing, University of Kentucky Equine Research Foundation, and Transylvania University. And during that time, he was instrumental in bringing the Queen of England to Keeneland. He's also an honorary member of the Victoria Racing Club of Australia, the Hong Kong Racehorse Owners Association, and the Association of Jockey Clubs of Latin America. He is recipient of the Eclipse Award of Merit, the Lord Derby Award, the U.S. Marine Corps Semper Fidelis Award, and the Department of the Navy Superior Public Service Award. He holds honorary degrees from the University of Kentucky and Transylvania and Eastern Kentucky universities. And even more personal, he was married for 65 years, and his wife was also very involved in the racing industry, and there's much about her that you can look up, but she was a wonderful woman that I never had the pleasure of meeting, but have heard so much about. Unfortunately, she passed from us in 2016. But today, Mr. Basset still works. Believe it or not, we talk about workforce development. He still goes to Keeneland 5 days a week. And I ask him, what's he do? And he says, well, I answer calls and answer emails. So he is still active in his roles. He is such an honorable man to meet. I get giddy every time I'm around him because he is not just a member of military honor, but he is a true hero to Kentucky on so many levels and is part of the rich heritage that we have in Kentucky, especially around horse racing and its involvement. So with that, I give to you, and I hope he'll make some comments here, James E. Ted Basset III. Your mic's on and we get it close enough to you to hear, because I'm sure you got some good stuff to tell us.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I can't tell you how honored and pleased I am to be considered. Look, when you're 80, it's a frightening experience. I'm pleased really to make it, but every day I feel like I'm some sort of creep walking around. But I can't tell you how pleased I am to be here and to be selected, considered for this very fine honor. And driving down today with a former state policeman, I think of the many times that I was here for 11 years. I was Governor Chandler, Governor Jones, and Governor Basset. I can't ever forget when Pete Widener was made commissioner of the Kentucky State Police. He was not a native Kentuckian. He was from old Philadelphia family, wealthy family. He was a police buff. He took a great interest in it and was head of the Fayette County Patrol. When he became director of the state police, he came down to see me and he said, I wonder if you'd come down and be part of this. I said, I know nothing about law enforcement. I know this and that. So he said, well, I went over to talk to Happy about you being the deputy commissioner. Happy said, who is that boy? He said, well, he's Gus Gay's son-in-law. This is my father-in-law, lived in Woodford County. Gus Gay, he's fought me in every election I've ever run into. I'm not going to point his boy in here. That was my introduction to state government. But it was a wonderful experience I had, and I admire all of you here for your service to the state, to the Commonwealth. And I can't thank you enough for this very distinguished honor and the honor of being here present with you today.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate. We do have just a token of our appreciation for you, Representative.
I guess somebody down here too.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to have you come up, but Representative Blanton, please, yes, if you have questions or more comments, I'm sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Mr. Basset. I'm honored to be here with you today to see you once again. I come to know Ted Basset prior to 1990 when I went into the State Police Academy through a family member of mine, Johnny Howard. And so Ted Basset was laid out to me as a legend by Mr. Howard. But when I got to the State Police Academy, I saw all the work that he had did. You know, Ted Basset is the one who termed the phrase the thin gray line. And that was up over the corridor as we walked through the hallways, as was many of his aspirational sayings. He has played a major, major impact as you see all the state police personnel here, command staff members. He has been a huge influence in the Kentucky State Police becoming what they are today. And Ted Basset, amongst those that wear the gray uniform, is a legend. He was telling me in the hallway when he first came associated with the state police that they were paying $178 a month to the troopers. Well, Mr. Basset, in your honor, if the Senate will hold to our House recommendation, those troopers that were making $178 in your day, when it passes, will be making over $55,000 starting out. And we do that because of the leadership that you showed back then that carries through to today. And it's been an honor and a great privilege of my life to be able to, when somebody mentions the name Ted Basset, I can say, I know that gentleman. Fine man, legend amongst everybody he comes into contact with everything he touches. So for that today, Mr. Basset, I want to say thank you. Thank you on behalf of all of the members, past, present, and future of the Kentucky State Police for what you did for our agency, building it in to what we know it as today. Thank you, Mr. Basset.
Mr. Basset, this is where we normally take a group picture, but I would like to invite all the state police and state troopers up here to join with them, if you would, and Representative Blanton, if you would. I was trying to get in touch with Representative Fugit, but he's over in A&R. I was hoping he'd get over here in time, but y'all gather for a picture there and just a small token of our appreciation.
Mr. Basset, I gave you a citation before just because it said it before. I'm giddy about being around you. You're just an amazing individual. And Jason was kind enough, Jason Palmer, who was our Capitol Security, who's here today, was kind enough to introduce me to you. And I just had a wonderful experience. I've not forgotten that. I appreciate the book and all the stories. We have here today for you from the DMAP a Veterans Challenge coin that we're going to present to you. That's never enough for a guy that brought the Queen of England to Kentucky. But we want to get a photograph with you. We cherish you. You're welcome back here anytime. And we are so glad. We know we couldn't get you here during COVID. I think he said what he said was, well, I had to cancel my 100th birthday party, so I don't think it would be good for me to show up in the Capitol for a meeting. So we're glad to have you today, and we hope you get many, many more years with us. And here's your coin, sir. Thank you very much.
Mr. Basset, you want to line up with these fine gentlemen and see if we can get y'all in a picture. Thank you so much, sir. Let's give him one more round of applause. Do we? I think everyone got some pictures there, but we appreciate him being here.
Easy. So much. All right, your handler is waiting. Your handlers are waiting for you over here. So shall I go out of here? Whichever way you want to go. So the other queen here is going to escort you out. So
Good to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Boy, I hope I'm doing that at 100. He picks up his cane like, I don't need this. Might be more of a weapon than a stabling device. All right, we're going to do something a little unusual too. We are obviously, many of y'all are here for Military Kids Days, so I've asked Caleb Haslett. He's going to come and up and hold a microphone. If each one of the kids would just come up, and we're kind of short on time. We got to have you over the Capitol by 11. But if you just want to say your name and where you're from in the state of Kentucky, not where you originally started this venture, but if y'all want to kind of start. On y'all side, Larry, or so, if you can get some of the kids, if do y'all want to come up and just say your name and where you're from real quickly. Come on up, y'all. Elijah, start things off. You're front row, buddy. There you go.
Did I just see my name? Just your name and where you're from. I'm Elijah, and I'm from Kentucky, Fort Knox.
Awesome. We'll kind of hold our applause at the end.
I'm Steven. I'm from Kentucky, Fort Knox.
Okay.
I'm Joanna, and I'm from Kentucky, Fort Knox.
I'm Timothy, and I'm from Fort Knox, Kentucky.
We got Fort Knox well represented.
I'm Clark Reynolds, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
I'm Lydia, and I'm from Fort Knox, Kentucky.
I'm Jasmine, and I'm from Fort Knox.
I'm Jacqueline, and I'm from Pineville. My name is Charles, and I'm from Pineville, Kentucky.
My name is Emmy, and I'm from Bardstown.
My name's Ella, and I'm from Monticello.
My name's Peyton, and I'm from Monticello.
I'm McKenna, and
We like her pillow.
my name's Alyssa, and I'm from Winchester.
Winchester.
My name's Cooper, and I'm from Nicholasville.
Good job, Cooper.
My name's Ethan, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
I'm Derek, and I'm from Louisville.
Awesome.
I'm Braden. I'm from Elizabethtown.
Both of his parents
I'm Eli, and I'm from Louisville.
I'm Otto, and I'm from Louisville.
I am Chloe Arms, and I'm from Casey County.
I'm Johnny, and I'm Johnny Banks, and I'm from Kentucky.
All right.
I'm Bo Banks, and I'm from Danville.
Mr. Chairman, I think these next three ladies are the daughters of our photographer here today.
Oh, wonderful. She didn't tell me that.
I'm Keelan Brummer, and I'm from Bedford.
Okay.
I'm Autrey, and I'm from Bedford, Kentucky. I'm Evelyn, and I'm from Bedford.
We can sure see the resemblance now.
My name is Jack, and I'm from Bloomfield, Kentucky.
I'm Natalie, and I'm from Bloomfield, Kentucky.
All right. Now, committee members, let's give them a hand for being here. All right. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. We are going to go ahead and start on some bills. That's we got everyone through in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. That's not too bad. We're going to go ahead and start with House Bill 326. This is the Honor and Remember flag. Representative Pruntney, come on up and introduce your guest. And I think, do you have someone virtually too? Okay. We'll let you run through and introduce everyone, and then please proceed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I'm Melinda Gibbons-Prunty, State Representative for the 15th District. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Make sure those green buttons are on there. There you go.
I just turned. Okay. Get close. Yeah.
I'm Cambry Bivens. I'm Aubrey Bivens.
Samuel Deeds.
Then I've got two virtually. Charlotte. Introduce yourself and tell what the organization you're with.
I'm Charlotte Ball, the state director for the Kentucky chapter of Honor and Remember, and a United States Air Force veteran.
George? George, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is George Lutz. I'm a Gold Star. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. My name is George Lutz. I'm a Gold Star father and the founder of the Honor and Remember organization.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. It's indeed my honor and privilege to be presenting House Bill 326 today for your consideration. The Honor and Remember flag was brought to me by Air Force veteran Charlotte Ball, who you just met, now on Zoom. She shared with me about her cousin, Eric Bivens, Specialist Eric Bivens, born and raised in Muhlenberg County, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, but had died in 2017 as a result of PTSD. She asked if I could work on getting Kentucky to join the growing list of states who had done what House Bill 326 would do if made into law. Charlotte also was a part of organizing the Honor and Remember inaugural Run for the Fallen that has now become an annual event in Kentucky. For those of you who have served on this committee for a while, this bill is not new to you. It has passed out of the House on multiple occasions, each time with 0 nay votes. The bill would designate the Honor and Remember flag, which the girls have brought with them, as the emblem of service and sacrifice of the brave men and women of the United States Armed Services who have made the ultimate sacrifice, whether directly in the line of duty or as a result of dying from the battle within, but I will let the others explain that. Nothing would be mandatory. The language says may. The bill lists the locations where it could be flown, what days it would be encouraged to be flown, and stipulates that no more than 2 other flags should be displayed at the same time on the same flagpole. And I'd like to note that it would be required to be a size smaller than the American flag that would obviously be at the top of the flagpole. The bill would require that the flag be made in the USA, and administrative regs or ordinances would be promulgated by the respective agency or local governing body that would oversee when it's flown. The bill also says that an employee shall not be required to report to work solely to display the flag. At this time, I'm going to ask Sergeant Deeds, Sam, to speak on the bill.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Samuel Deeds, retired gunnery sergeant from the United States Marine Corps. To date, I've had 44 surgeries due to injuries sustained in Iraq. First and foremost, this isn't to replace the American flag. There's no symbol out there that can do that. I believe in that flag so much that I have it tattooed on my body, and I will have it with me for the rest of my life. The Honor and Remember flag doesn't just represent those that were killed in combat or those that were killed in training, but those that lost their battle here at home as well to post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury. The Gold Star Service banner does not recognize, even if you commit suicide on active duty, that family as a Gold Star family. This flag does that. This flag honors those family members for their loved one that lost their battle here at home. To date, 11,745 Kentuckians have died in combat. That number came from the National Archives and the Military Times. To date, 111 Kentuckians have lost their lives in the global war on terror. With that said, I want to take a moment to honor Master Sergeant Aaron Torian, who died 8 years ago today in Afghanistan. That flag represents him.
Sir, can we pause and just take a moment of silence for him? Amen.
Thank you. This flag represents Justin Sims, who I had the honor to work out with every single day as a Marine Corps recruiter to get him ready for boot camp, who died in 2006 in Iraq. I also served with Justin, 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines. This flag represents Tyler Warndorf, who I recruited at 17. His mom, a widow, had to sign for him to join the Marine Corps, who was killed in 2006 in 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines in Iraq. Sorry. It also represents the families like Mullins, Maddens, Wiener, Williams, Fulkerson, Winkler, and so many others here in Kentucky, and the hundreds of families that I met around the world, to include George Lutz, who is on virtual today, who has allowed me to get an 1,100 square foot flag made for that organization, for a skydive team that I work for, and our flag has over 600 signatures from fallen family members. That flag has flown here at this state capitol and landed on the front lawn 3 times for the Kentucky Veterans Hall of Fame ceremonies. I had a Gold Star father that I've become really good friends with. I picked his son up from the School of Infantry, deployed him to Haiti, and he was killed 2 months after I got injured. And he said that people die twice. Once when they take their last breath, and secondly when their name is spoken for the last time. This flag will allow that conversation to continue, because the honor member flag bears the name of every single person when it's presented to the family of that loved one. When you see that flag, you'll see the name of that loved one. Say it out loud so that name never dies. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to present to you today. The Honor and Remember flag is a symbol of public appreciation recognizing the sacrifice of generations of heroes. In almost 250 years of our nation's history, there has never been a public symbol of sacrifices made by our armed forces, and sends a message of appreciation to their families. The Honor and Remember flag gives the opportunity to publicly show appreciation and show that their loved ones will always be remembered and honored for who they were.
We fully support the American flag, and the Honor and Remember flag in no way replaces the American flag. Without the men and women who make the ultimate sacrifice, we would not be able to show our love for this country or what this country stands for. We lost our father in 2017 and were presented with a folded flag. Once that flag is folded, it is never to be opened again. The Honor and Remember flag is made to never be folded again. It is flown proudly under the American flag. It is to honor not only the hero sacrifice, but the family sacrifice as well. This shows that their hero is gone but never forgotten. Once you've received a folded flag, you have a whole new perspective about the flag. It comes from the ones who fight for the freedoms that we have today. For that, we are forever grateful. The Honor and Remember flag gives us a chance to honor and remember our fallen and show appreciation to their families. It gives them hope and lets them know that what their hero did was not taken for granted by us. As Americans, we need something to show our gratitude and appreciation.
On July 3rd of 2018, something we will never forget was being presented with our Honor and Remember flag by Representative Prunty. Being presented with this flag was very emotional. It lets us know that our dad's sacrifice was not taken for granted, and that our sacrifice was also appreciated. Knowing that people around us were willing to take a moment and realize not only our dad's sacrifice but ours, it was a beautiful thing. Just knowing that people were willing to do that. We have presented flags to families. We run with the Run for the Fallen. We stop at every mile and every name is said. And getting to just see the families and knowing that we're not the only ones, because we are a military family that lost our dad. So we know that we're not the only ones. And just being able to present to them and call out their fallen soldier's name is just a really amazing thing.
It has created a community of people for us. Knowing that we aren't alone and that other people have lost loved ones gives us a community that we can feel loved in. This concludes our testimony. We would be happy to answer any questions. Again, thank you, Mr. Chair Thomas, and the committee for letting us present to you today.
And ladies, is that the flag? Is that your father's flag that you all presented? And would you hold the flag up just so members can see the honor and remember flag as well?
Oh, that is awesome. We're so sorry for y'all's loss.
And I'd like to note that their mom, Cammie, is in the audience as well. George, would you like to make a few comments? You're muted, George.
George, unmute your mic there. There you
Okay.
go. Start over.
How's that?
That's better.
I say my signal may be weak, so forgive me for that. See if I can't get through this. I can send a printed copy of what I say, my remarks, if you'd like. But thank you for the opportunity, Chairman and Committee. I had mentioned before, my name is George Lutz, Gold Star father and founder of the Honor and Remember organization. And this all started when my son was killed in 2005. And I went on a search basically to find something that I could embrace that would mitigate my pain, and grief, because, hearing those words, "we regret to inform you," are the most devastating words any family could ever hear. And one of the things that I did for my own benefit, I guess, for healing, was to living in a military town of Norfolk, Virginia. I began to attend all too frequently local funerals of military service members. And the reason I went there was because I wanted to meet with families and let them know that they weren't alone, that they weren't going through this grieving process without others having gone through it before them. And after 2 years of attending funerals and trying to bring comfort and healing, not only to them, but to myself, I began to hear the same phrases over and over from these families. The same comments. I mean, obviously it's something that has common ground, but those two things were, I hope that my loved one didn't die in vain, and I don't want them to be forgotten. Those two things hung everywhere that I went. But I knew that as long as the American flag flew on free soil, that no sacrifice would ever be in vain, no matter whether something was politically motivated or not. No sacrifice would ever be in vain as long as we lived under the American flag. But the forgotten part was something that was a little bit more difficult for me to understand, because I wasn't able to embrace that myself. When a soldier dies, there's an immediate rallying around of the family, right? It could happen in communities, and it comes from every direction. Hometowns rally around the families. Families start receiving gifts of letters and portraits and quilts and all kinds of things from around the country. People want to do something. Everybody wants to do something, even if they don't know someone particular. 3 months later, 6 months later, 5 years later, we as Americans have very short memories. And most of the families and friends that are around those families, the co-workers, they've all moved on. And they've hoped that you've moved on, because it's very difficult for a family to be talking about, their dead loved one, too much longer. And I met with some families this weekend at an event that I was in. And one of the things that they kept saying to me was, "I don't want to talk about my son anymore, because every time I talk about him, it brings a heaviness to the conversation." And so basically what these family members end up doing is silently suffering through the pain of remembering dates. It could be birthdays, it could be anniversaries, special moments, a song, whatever it might be to trigger that reminder of them. And so they suffer with that silently, not even considering that the general population even still cares. So what I wanted to do was something that would affect the entire country, actually enable everyone to be able to still remember without having to be sad and somber and reminding of a tragic event, but in some small way give generations of these fallen family members a glimmer that their sacrifice would still be remembered somehow. And so I guess my conclusion to that was to create a symbol, was to create something by which everyone could participate, right? So on Memorial Day of 2008, 14 years ago, the Honor Remember flag was unveiled as a public way in the hopes that it would give our nation a specific symbol, as Cambry said, of appreciation, kind of a visible reminder that, to everyone, that sacrifice comes at a price, but so that when the families see it flying, there is that ongoing, continuing respect and remembrance. Nothing existed prior to this, nothing that could fill the void, right? 14 years later, we have 26 state adopted legislations that determined that this symbol was important enough to make official in their state. We have flags for everything in our nation. Flags define everything. Our U.S. flag defines our unity and our comprehension as a country and who we are, our freedoms and our rights, right? We have state flags that define our borders. We have branches of service flags. Colleges have flags. We have flags for everything. The POW-MIA flag for that group that was missing or captured. However, the one symbol that has been missing all this time was a way to appreciate the people group that enables us every day to fly all of those flags, right? Something very specific. So the Honor Remember flag is not only necessary, I believe it's an obligation. It's vital. There are many, many, many more reasons why it's important, but in this short testimony, we can only touch the surface. But most importantly, it sends a perpetual, consistent message that never existed. We're obligated to never forget the men and women who signed that blank check, giving their lives. But most importantly, the family who raised them and loved them, I believe, should never have to wonder if we truly are a grateful nation. Thank you guys for the opportunity, and any questions.
Mr. Chairman, I move passage.
I have a motion on the bill.
Second.
I have a second by Representative Massey. Alrighty. Representative Prunty, is there any other testimony or so? Or
Charlotte, do you want to say a few words as a veteran?
I'll keep it brief. Again, I am Charlotte Ball. I am the state chapter director for Honor Remember State of Kentucky. I am a very proud veteran of the United States Air Force. I thank you, Chair Thomas, members of the committee, to allow me to this few moments here to provide testimony in support of this bill. I'm sure every one of you honor and respect our beautiful U.S. flag. I do with all that I am, and I stand by what she symbolizes: freedom and justice for our great nation. Our flag also stands for pride, sacrifice, opportunity, hope, strength, and freedom for all of our citizens. I served alongside some of the finest men and women whose mission was to protect the flag, this country, and all that it represents. Of these military members, there are those that paid the ultimate price, whether it was on a battlefield, in enemy territory, or some cases at home, succumbing to struggles within themselves that are known as PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. It's these group of individuals whose valiant fight for our country seems to be pushed under the rug anymore. They don't classify as Gold Stars simply because they returned home from the war, but yet they still lost their lives because the war was still raging within them. These, as well as those who return home in flag draped coffins, these are what the Honor and Remember flag represents. They are why we feel we need a symbol of remembrance for our fallen, and not just a thank you to them, but their families that they leave behind, and promise that we will never forget their sacrifice and what they did for our country. Thank you again for this brief moment, and if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Do we have any questions or comments from the committee members? If not, let's proceed to vote. Mr. Secretary, please call roll.
Representative Blanton, Representative Dossett, Representative Duplessis.
Explain my vote.
Go ahead, sir.
To the Bivens, I want you to know your father was not forgotten, is very much appreciated, and thank you for continuing his legacy for so many others as well. Mr. Chairman, that's a yes for me.
Representative Freeland,
Yes.
Representative Fugit, Representative Gentry,
Yes.
Representative Gooch,
Yes.
Representative Hart, Representative Cook,
Aye.
Representative Lewis, Representative Maddox,
Yes.
Representative Massey.
Briefly explain my vote.
Please.
I'm a resounding yes. I'm the primary co-sponsor on this bill. I was one of those members that brought this bill in the past and was very frustrated that it passed our chamber. The first time I brought it 96-0. The next time it was something like 89-0. And I would encourage all of my colleagues here to try to get the Senate to get behind this. We think we've rubbed out some of the opposition. When I say rubbed them out, I don't mean that. What I mean by that is we heard a lot of commentary about it trumping the American flag, and no way. That's why you heard that testimony today. In no way does this trump the American flag. It just gives the dignity and the respect to the families that desperately need it. I've been a friend with the gunnery sergeant for many, many years, but back when he was a baby Marine. And he's had many sacrifices and lost many friends and colleagues. And I just think that we owe a duty to our children that were here today, to all children, to continue to remind them of the service of our veterans, because I do think it gets forgotten when we're not in a time of combat. And we can't forget these people because they actually provide the very freedom that we are serving under. So a resounding yes.
Thank you.
Representative McCool, Representative Minter,
I'm proud to vote yes, as I have every time this bill has come before us, and I hope this is the time.
Representative Sharp,
Most definitely yes.
Representative Stevenson, Representative Tackett Lafferty.
Yes, explain my vote.
Please.
I vote yes today because I think this will definitely honor our fallen soldiers and Gold Star families, such as your dad, and rightly so. But I would also like to mention Lance Corporal Jonathan Thornsberry, who was a young soldier out in my community in 2006 during the war in Iraq. So thank you for bringing this today.
Representative Wesley,
Yes.
Representative Wheatley,
Yes, on behalf of Matthew Winkler, who was a constituent, and his mother Deb, Deb Winkler, who helped bring this bill about in 2019, the first time, with Representative Massey.
Chair Thomas.
Aye. And Representative Hart, would you like to record a vote?
Yes, I'm a yes.
All right. And Representative Fugit? Yes. All right. We have any others that we missed or so? I am going to leave the rolls open at the end because we had a few have to step out on other meetings. At this time, I'm going to pause for just 1 second, and I hate to clear such a room of such great faces here, but I know y'all have a tour over at the Capitol at 11 o'clock, so any with the Family Military Kids Day, if y'all want. I'm just going to pause for a sec. I know y'all... Caleb, can you stand out there and kind of let them know which way to go to get them over to the Capitol? I believe that tour starts at 11, so that gives you about 8 to 10 minutes to get on over there. Thank y'all so much for being here. Once again, committee, let's give them a round of applause for all the military family. And next up, Representative Roberts, if y'all would.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all, and sorry for your loss, y'all.
Sammy, clean up nice, by the way.
Try.
He's leaving the rolls open so that other members can come back and vote for it.
Oh, sorry, Linda.
Alrighty, well, we excited. We got another good piece of legislation, HB 206, and Representative Roberts and Representative Decker. If y'all would, y'all know the routine. Introduce yourself just for the record and your guests also.
Chairman Thomas, esteemed members of the committee, we come before you today to present House Bill 206, a police credentialing board. I am Representative Rachel Roberts.
And I am Representative Jennifer Henson Decker from District 58. Thank you.
I'm Sean Butler. I'm the Executive Director for the Kentucky Police Chiefs Association.
Ryan Straw, Vice President and Governmental Affairs Chair for the Kentucky State Fraternal Order of Police.
Esteemed members, House Bill 206 would prevent those with a history of sexual assault from becoming peace officers in our Commonwealth. This bill prohibits anyone who has been convicted of various serious misdemeanor offenses under KRS Chapter 510, including assault against a minor, from being certified or retained as a peace officer. House Bill 206 is an extension.
Wow. You got some friendly people over there. He motioned you pretty quickly there. So we do have a motion in a second. Must be getting close to lunchtime or something. But we do have a question, Representative Duplessis.
Thank you, Representatives Roberts and Decker, for this good bill. I have talked to my chief of police, Jeremy Thompson, and Mr. Butler. He said you probably wouldn't recognize his name and admit to it, but he is also very much in support of this bill. But I do have a question. My understanding is that constables are considered peace officers, and I'm just wondering, since constables are elected, does this eliminate them from being able to run for office, or am I misunderstanding? Again, I'm very much for this bill. I'm just wondering where constables would fall in with this.
We do not believe that it does. We can look into that further, but as constitutional officer, they are elected, and I do not think this covers them.
Okay, thank you.
That is a really good question. So see if y'all can round up that before it makes it to the next step or so.
Mr. Chairman, I would just say that the constables, the same as the sheriffs, they are not held to the certification. So I don't believe that they would be affected by this legislation. This is those that are certified through the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council that would have their certification revoked. So I don't believe it would apply to any elected official.
Okay.
And I'm just, because I want to make sure the bill's constitutional and doesn't hit legal issues, is that spelled out in the bill that it would be for those who are hired through that commission?
I believe it's spelled out under the KRS statute. This bill really is just strengthening the language of Senate Bill 80 and Senate Bill 52 from last year, which have had no constitutional challenges that I'm aware of.
All right. Do we have any other questions or comments or anything? If not, Mr. Secretary, please call roll.
Representative Blanton.
Aye.
Representative Dossett.
Yes.
Representative Duplessis.
Yes.
Representative Freeland.
Yes.
Representative Fugit.
Yes.
Representative Gentry.
Yes.
Representative Gooch.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Cook.
Aye.
Representative Lewis. Representative Maddox.
Yes.
Representative Massey.
Yes.
Representative McCool. Representative Minter.
Absolutely, yes.
Representative Sharp.
Yes.
Representative Stevenson. Representative Tackett Lafferty.
Yes.
Representative Wesley.
Yes.
Representative Wheatley.
Yes.
Chair Thomas.
Aye. Well, it shall pass. We look forward to hearing that on the floor. And Representative Duplessis, if you want to talk with these two and make sure that I believe the question's been answered, but let's just make sure just in case there, because has other chances to fix it or make it even better if so. So we appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you.
I'll break. I think Representative Dossett just came in, and Blanton. We have, I think y'all caught this bill, didn't you? But if y'all want to record a vote on 326, the honor and remember flag.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to record a yes vote on House Bill 326, please.
Representative Blanton, did you have something else? Awesome. All right. I think as of now, we're caught as we lose members, but we're caught up as of right now. We're going to keep funneling members in and out. Busy day. All right. At this time, Representative Tate, Ed, I'm leaving you for last because I got you. So, yeah. So Representative Tate, if you would, this is kind of just a cleanup bill from something we passed 2 years ago, I think, wasn't it, or last year? 2 years.
Last year, as a matter of fact.
Oh, time flies.
Exactly. House
so
Bill
this
155.
is House Bill 442, and if y'all want to introduce yourself, even though we know you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Nancy Tate from House District 27.
Representative Melinda Gibbons-Prunty, House District 15.
We also have a couple of guests that I'd like to make sure that we acknowledge. We've got Monica Kelsey, who is the founder and CEO of Safe Haven Baby Box.
And then Troy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Troy Walker. I'm the director of the ambulance service for Owensboro Health Muhlenberg Community Hospital in Greenville, Kentucky. Thank you.
Christy?
Hello, I'm Christy Jenkins. I'm the 911 director of Muhlenberg County 911.
And Diana?
Hello, I'm Diana Anderson from the Pathway of Hope, a pregnancy resource center in Greenville, Kentucky.
All right, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to present House Bill 442, Safe Haven Baby Box. Just as the chairman mentioned, during the 2021 session, we passed House Bill 155 with 0 no votes. These boxes have been installed in over 100 locations in 7 states. All right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion in a second. Is there anything else with y'all's testimony? Are y'all okay?
I think I'm okay.
Okay.
One of the things I've learned is to stop talking.
Especially when it's this close to lunchtime,
That's
isn't
exactly right. Yes, sir.
All righty. Does any members have any questions or anything like that? All right. If not, Mr. Secretary, please call roll.
Representative Blanton. Representative Dossett.
Yes.
Representative Duplessis.
Yes.
Representative Freeland.
Yes.
Representative Fugit.
Yes.
Representative Gentry.
Yes.
Representative Gooch.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Cook.
Yes.
Representative Lewis. Representative Maddox.
Yes.
Representative Massey.
Yes.
Representative McCool. Representative Minter.
Yes.
Representative Sharp. Representative Stevenson. Representative Tackett Lafferty. Representative Wesley.
Yes.
Representative Wheatley.
Yes.
Chair Thomas.
Aye. It has passed. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Mr. Chairman, can I just make one comment?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to thank you all. The box is in. It's ready to flip the switch. It's ready to dedicate. The people have been trained. It's just sitting there. So this allows that to happen in Muhlenberg County. So thank you very much.
All right. Well, we're glad.
Great.
We
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
y'all's work on that too. So, all right, we have one more presenter, and we're going to move to HB 331. Do we have someone speaking? We have a couple people after y'all's presentation that we'll invite up to speak also on it.
You're welcome.
So please introduce yourself and your guest, and please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I'll Ed Massey from District 66 in Boone County, and I'll defer to my guest to introduce themselves.
Good morning, Chairman and committee. My name is I have my Executive Director for Veteran Services, Al Dunn, to my immediate left. I have my Chief of Staff, Dwayne Edwards, who can stand up, please, as well as
Commissioner, is your mic on? Is that green button on?
It is now.
Okay, can you?
I thought that was my command voice. Okay.
We love hearing from you. Would you care to go ahead and do that again?
Hey, no problem, sir. Good morning, Chairman and committee. My name is Whitney Allen, Commissioner for Kentucky Department of Veteran Affairs. I'm just going to be quick in introducing my staff. To my immediate right, and who will be doing the briefing and representing the agency, Executive Director Al Duncan over my Veteran Services. To my immediate left, my Chief of Staff, Dwayne Edwards. And then my Deputy Commissioner, Lynn Noel. And then finally, special guest, General Les Beavers, to my right over here, the guy who created KDVA, currently the legislative liaison for the national organization that represent all of the state veteran affairs across the nation. So I'm glad to have him here. And once again, thank you, Ed Massey, for bringing us up.
All right, members. This actually is a removal of one word from the
Motion
statute.
on the bill.
Second.
Boy, you explained that well.
Yes, I did.
Y'all are trying to beat Kim Banta's meeting that lasted. She got a bill passed in 32 seconds or something. It was pretty quick. So, all right. Does any committee members have any questions for this group? And then we're going to bring up. We have a couple speakers that do want to speak. I'm not sure in favor or against, but we'll let them speak in just a sec there. Any questions for this group?
Oh, no,
You're good?
I'm good.
Yeah, Representative Cook.
I'll ask you a question if you like.
I do have a question, and I think it goes, and it's because I've had some conversation with Mr. Arnett, who I believe is coming up next. But I caught it in your packet here, and if you could just go over, if we don't act and have the word Kentucky removed from KRS, the state of Kentucky will be required to pay all the future expansion in excess $10 to $20 million with no help from the USDVA, the NCA, or the SCGP.
We lose federal dollars.
Yeah, and I think
bottom line.
And I know Mr. Arnett's going to come up and talk about that here in a second. So I wanted to.
Y'all want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Al, please. Thank you.
The United States Department of Veterans Affairs is rewriting their portion of 38 CFR right now. And in that, they intend to add a line that states if any state residency requirement for interments is into any state veteran cemeteries, they will not be allowed for future grants. Each one of our state veteran cemeteries have approximately 99 acres. They will be open for the next 99 years. And over the past, since 2000, since our very first cemetery in 2004 in your area, Representative Thomas, we spent $38 million. None of that money was on you guys. Everything was from the State Cemetery Grants Program and the National Cemetery Administration. Once they get this put in, it is going to hamper us from getting any money from them. Then we will have to come back to you guys to ask you. I've done the math. Nobody has seen these more than I have. I've been the executive director for the past 2 years. I've been in the state cemeteries for the past 15 years. It's upwards of 10 to 20 millions that we will be asking for over the next 2 to 10 years to expand our cemeteries. They're going to give us the money. Let's let them give us the money. The word Kentucky means nothing other than what it has in the writing. Nobody is going to flood our gates and come in from any other state. It just doesn't happen. We have 17,000 people buried in our cemeteries. We have a list of over 20,000 people that want to be interned in our state veteran cemeteries. And anywhere in there, since the year 2000 that we have started creating this list, there was 25 names that would not have been eligible for interment over 20 years across 5 state veteran cemeteries. So the premise is that it's not going to happen just isn't there. I work with my directors every day, and we see these issues, and that concern, I understand, but it's just not there. The National Cemetery is going to do this. They are in the process of doing this. They have reached out to myself, General Beavers, that was on the committee, and they have let us know that this is going to happen, whether it is this year or next year or the following year. All I'm asking is that we get ahead of it so that we can continue to go ahead and expand our state veteran cemeteries for our veterans and our state veteran cemeteries. Thank you.
And please let me add, and thanks, Al, that's why I like hanging around smart people. It's 3 things that it boils down to. Maintaining or maintaining under federal regulations and directives, and that's what guides the standards. And L is one of the best in the nation. Our cemeteries are one of the best. 2, maintain the legacy of our veterans. All of the land is not developed yet, so we will have to go back and get money. And once again, I think Al, you did the math: 7 years, $30 million. So that is a lot of money. Actually, he'll be putting in grants to realign existing headstones. That's why it looks so pretty. That's $2 to $3 million. And then the last piece on that piece is the fiscal health of the Commonwealth. If they go ahead and once this is instituted, we lose federal dollars. We as a state will have to fit the bill. Thank you.
And it's my understanding that if they don't get the federal money and we didn't step up to the plate and then fund it, if that were to happen, they might have to close some of the cemeteries. We certainly don't want that to happen.
All right. Is there any other questions for these three or so? If not, General Beavers and Larry Arnett, if y'all want to, did y'all want to speak, or were y'all signed to speak? So,
General Beavers,
come on up, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Just make sure those mics are on, and even so, please, we know y'all, but please introduce yourself for the record.
My name is Larry Arnett. I speak on behalf of the 26 veteran service organizations that belong to the Joint Executive Council of Veteran Organizations of Kentucky.
Sir, I'm Brigadier General retired Les Beavers, your first commissioner for the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs.
Is the mic on? Hit that green button. Just push it, and the green button will light up.
I apologize,
there you
Mr.
go.
Chairman. I'm Brigadier General retired Les Beavers, your first commissioner of Veterans Affairs in 1998. I served for 10 years, appointed by Governor Patton, served under Governor Fletcher, and then Governor Brashear for a year. Following my tenure of 10 years here, I went on to be the executive director for all the state departments of Veterans Affairs. And I was also appointed to the advisory committee for the national cemeteries, and served as the chairman for the last 2 years of that 13-year period for that. I'm now currently serving as the legislative director for all state departments of Veterans Affairs. I deal mostly with national legislation. When we built the cemeteries, and when I first put in the plan to have 5 state veteran cemeteries, and our intent was not to deny any honorably discharged veteran to be buried in our cemeteries. And over my 10 years, we operated under that premise. And it did not have an effect on our bottom line of operational cost. I think Al is right. The numbers involved, and he studied it most recently, the number of burial requests for outside our state will not impact Kentucky. I would not recommend it if it would. There's an honorable way of looking at this too. The state veteran cemeteries were put in to as an adjunct or to supplement the national cemeteries. From a number standpoint, we did not have the population to have another national cemetery in the state. A lot of states are in that position. So State Veteran Cemetery Grant Program came into being. Initially, it was a 50-50 grant relationship, and then it went to 100%. Realize that the federal government paid 100% on the construction and the initial equipping of our state veteran cemeteries. But the states inherit the operational cost, and we do receive a plot allowance from the federal government of over $800 for the burial of every state or of every veteran. That does not apply to family members. And that's one of the issues that we've been addressing at the national level, is how that the federal government, since they allow the family member to also be buried, that there should be some form of money from the federal government to the states to do that function. Like I said, we operated for 10 years, not denying access, because if you serve this great country, the whole idea of the state cemetery and the national cemeteries is to honor that service, and that's what we wanted to do. This issue has been brought up at the national level. It's currently being discussed. I'd like to point out to what Al said, the 38 CFR has not been amended yet. However, when there is a memorandum of agreement between the federal government and the state for an expansion grant or columbarium or O&M cost, any grant in that MOA, they are now requiring that there'll be no residency requirement. So it will affect us, and it'll affect us now. So I recommend your support of this legislation. I honestly think it's the best thing to do, but more importantly, we go back to why do we have them, and that's to honor service to our great country, regardless of where they're from and when they served, and I think that's the right thing to do. So I recommend you support the legislation.
Thank you, sir. You want to?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I served with General Beavers for several years, and I respect the work that he did in regards to the building and constructing and operation of our state veteran cemeteries. The fact is that the state veteran cemeteries is a boon to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. It keeps them from having to build other federal national cemeteries and pay 100% of the operation of those cemeteries. While I have great respect for the sponsor, Representative Massey, and his willingness to support Kentucky veterans, we have some very serious concerns for Kentucky veterans in regards to this bill. The fact is that it's not a good bill for Kentucky veterans. It is, however, a good bill for states like Ohio, Indiana, and all of the other states who did not put in the resources that Kentucky has into building state veteran cemeteries. There are several reasons why this bill should not be advanced. First, there's no real urgency here in passage of this bill. The fact is, as General Beavers and Commissioner Allen have presented, the CFR is only under discussion at the national level. Whether or not that limitation of funding is in the final CFR is up to them. It may or may not happen. It also may not be that Congress is going to agree with limiting states like Kentucky and other states who have invested millions into our state veteran cemeteries. The fact also is that this bill is going to have a fiscal impact. If it is passed, it'll have a fiscal impact. As General Beaver says, while the federal government picks up the cost of construction, initial equipment, your state revenue dollars pick up the cost of operations. And if we increase the number of internments in state veteran cemeteries, it's going to require a greater staff and greater operational expenditures. That's the dollars out of your general fund. Now, why would that be a concern? Why would we, as Kentucky veterans, be concerned about expanding the availability of plots in the Kentucky veteran cemeteries? Well, let me give you an example. The fact is, KDVA has said that the Kentucky Veteran Cemetery Central in Radcliffe, it takes up to 30 days to bury a veteran. That is unacceptable to you as an individual Kentuckian. That is unacceptable to you as a leader in the Kentucky General Assembly who funded the state veteran cemeteries. Why is that why are we having to wait 30 days, up to 30 days, to have a burial of a veteran in a state veteran cemetery? It's staffing. It's staffing. They do not have enough staff at Radcliffe to bury those veterans on a timely basis today. Will it be exacerbated if we wind up increasing the number of veterans who are going to be buried at that cemetery? Of course it will, unless you spend the money to increase staffing and operational expenses. The real concern also gets to be not only the Ratcliffe Cemetery, but we have some very serious concerns about the cemetery in northern Kentucky, in Williamstown. Why would we be concerned about that? Well, the fact is that Ohio has 848,000 veterans. It has the sixth largest veteran population in the United States. It has one state veteran cemetery up in northern Ohio next to Sandusky at an old soldier and sailor's home. They only have two national cemeteries. One is in northern Ohio, the other one is in Dayton, about an hour north of Cincinnati. It's 25 minutes from Cincinnati over to Williamstown. That 100,000 veterans that are in the Cincinnati area will have an opportunity under this bill to be able to be buried at Williamstown. Will it overwhelm the staff? Will it reduce the quality of care at that location? That's supposition. But I think you can read the lines. That's not the only issue. There's been a recent development in U.S. Congress that says that there is a bill in both the House and the Senate side of Congress. They want to open up state veteran cemeteries to all National Guardsmen and reservists. It has already passed the Senate Armed Services Committee and is up for a full vote in the Senate. Odds are it's going to pass. Guardsmen and reservists deserve the opportunity to be buried in a dignified location like a state veteran cemetery. We happen to agree with that. But if you add that number of reservists and guardsmen into an already potentially crowded state veteran cemetery with limited staffing and limited space available, we just exacerbate the issue as we speak. In summary, Mr. Chairman, there's no urgency. We feel like that it has the potential of reducing the quality of our burials at our state veteran cemeteries. It has the potential of filling up the slots that are currently available in those state veteran cemeteries. It's going to cost the state more. We would ask that you not pass this bill forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I've been hitting my own mic here. We do have some questions, and maybe some of the testimony can get answered that way. Representative Duplessis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, I missed your name.
It's Larry Arnett.
Larry Arnett.
Representative. Yes.
I want to ask a question specifically to you, and I want to make a comment as well. I've seen it. I'm from Hardin County, and
Sure.
I have seen very slow processing times to go into that cemetery, into the Ratcliffe Veterans Cemetery, from a friend of mine's son. If we have labor shortages that's keeping that happening, regardless of what we're talking about today,
Right.
we should be hearing that, and we should have a bill in front of us to fix that. Is the issue? My question to you is, if we know that the military is very transient. Again, I live near Fort Knox.
Sure.
So I become friends with folks, and then 3 years later they move on. It's very tough. It's tough for the folks that live in Hardin County because we got some of our best friends move. So the children of soldiers are used to moving around. At some point in their lives, if they don't go in the military, they find a home spot. We try to encourage them to come to Kentucky.
Certainly.
When that parent dies, and that parent has had a home all over the United States and Germany and North and South Korea and everywhere else, why wouldn't we say to that family, we want your parents here in Kentucky so you can visit them?
The issue at hand is, do you reduce the quality of the burials for Kentucky veterans for those very limited circumstances, Representative? And yes, there are individual circumstances where we would certainly want and encourage that individual to be buried in the state of Kentucky. I think that is a very small group of individuals and probably would not be of a major impact. What will be of concern is that if you do not adequately staff the cemeteries, then you're going to wind up overloading the work burden of those individual staffers, and you're going to reduce the quality of those burial opportunities.
So
that is done by quantity.
I understand your point, and what we as a committee are hearing is we need to make sure we're doing what's right for Gold Star families, for families of veterans who have served and died, natural causes as well. And if we have inherent problems in our system, those need to be fixed, not at the expense of those who want to put their family member in our state. They need to be fixed because they need to be fixed, period. And that's what I would hope, Mr. Arnett, that you'll come to us showing us shortfalls that we can fix, not ways that we can limit attendance to these very important places of burial. Thank you, sir.
We are not in disagreement, Representative. The issue at hand is that if the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs is inadequately funded to furnish sufficient staffing, then that ought to be fixed. That would be more easily addressed by the commissioner or someone from the Department of Veterans Affairs. But thank you very much, Representative.
All right, we do have another question by Representative Blanton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a lot of confidence in the commissioner and his staff over there. I would think that they know what they're capable of handling at our cemeteries and what they're not. Nobody wants to see our cemeteries overburdened. We want to take care of our veterans. I think you will find everyone on this committee is committed to taking care of our veterans because they deserve that. And I hear that we've had 25 over the last 20 years. I've been through this in private life when people's afraid of some type of twist and change that we're going to get overrun all of a sudden. And in reality, that never happens. Then it was brought up on a federal level about guardsmen and so forth. I'd be curious to see how many of our guardsmen over the last 20 years in this war have died in Afghanistan and Iraq, and they're just as deserving to be there as anybody. They're soldiers.
That's right.
They're soldiers, and they deserve to be there. So I hear your concerns. I always try to stick with my veterans. But today, I have to side with the commissioner and his staff, being the ones that are running the day-to-day operations of these things, of these cemeteries. And if that comes to fruition, that we start seeing an abundance of people actually trying to bring from other states, then I certainly will be in favor of putting more funding into our Veterans Affairs to hire the staff they need to do that. I think we can accommodate all veterans in this situation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Representative Wesley, and that let's try to make that the only one left here. Go ahead, Representative Wesley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say I appreciate everyone being here, but I also want to say that I just got done praying with the 149th Charlie Company over at the National Guard in Ravenna, Estill County. They're serving for us and our country in Kosovo. And I have served with me that went through the same training I went through in the Marine Corps as reservists. They serve in the I-9, 1st MP Company in Lexington. So I would be in support as Representative Blanton for all of our reservists, National Guardsmen. They are going to be, they're serving our country just like anybody else. And I believe that they are well deserved to be in any of our military's cemetery. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Sir, I might point out that any Guard or Reserve soldier, airman or whatever, when they go on to active duty, they are classified as a veteran and they're already eligible.
All right. With that, let's go ahead and Mr. Secretary, please call roll.
Representative Blanton.
Aye.
Representative Dossett.
Yes.
Representative Duplessis.
Yes.
Representative Freeland.
Yes.
Representative Fugit.
Yes.
Representative Gentry. Representative Gooch.
Yes.
Representative Hart. Representative Cook.
Explain my vote.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to pass today. Colonel Arnett and I have been through the trenches together on other bills, the Veteran Service Organization property tax bill. I respect him very deeply, and I need to do some more homework on this. So I'd like to pass for today.
Well noted. Thank you.
Representative Lewis. Representative Maddox.
Yes.
Representative Massey.
Yes.
Representative McCool. Representative Minter.
Briefly explain my vote.
Go ahead.
I appreciate the entire discussion, and you've brought forward lots of things that many of us had not thought about. So I'm a yes for today, and I concur with what Representative Blanton has had to say, but I do want to check in with my veterans organizations back in my district and get their input. So it's a yes for today, but I'm actively seeking their thoughts and input. Thank you.
Representative Stevenson.
Yes, and I also like to register a yes.
We will do that just in a sec, ma'am.
Okay,
I'll come to you in a sec.
Representative Sharp. Representative Tackett Lafferty.
Yes, explain my vote.
Please do.
The same as my colleagues, you have caused some concern that I'd like to look into. I am a yes for today because I do feel like we need to invest in all of our veterans. But I'd like to speak with some of my local veterans and see how they feel about this now. But I am a yes for today. Thank you.
Representative Wesley.
Explain my vote.
Go ahead.
I want to say that I appreciate all of our veterans, appreciate bringing this legislation to us. I'll be a yes for today, and I'm going to stay in contact with Representative Cook on this as a fellow Marine. Thank you.
Representative Wheatley.
Yes.
Chair Thomas.
Yes. All right. It does put us as a chair. I value both of y'all's opinions, and we're in the middle of this one. It does look like it is going to move on. So please, if y'all both want to mention it to other representatives that aren't on this committee, it sounds like the House floor is the next visit for it. So we appreciate everyone for being here. Commissioner, always great to see you and being here also. So
thank you.
All right. I'm going to keep the rolls open. I think Representative Stevenson, it's your time.
Thank you.
Did you get, let's see, we got 326. That was the honor and remember. Did we get your vote? You're a yes on that one. Then we had HB 206.
Yes.
Okay. And then we had HB 442.
Pass.
Pass on that one. That's the baby boxes. Is that the... Just adding, it was the baby boxes. We've already passed it last year. This was just allowing baby boxes to go into 24-hour services.
Oh, 24. Okay.
Yeah.
I misread it then.
Yeah, it's.
Yes.
But okay, you're a yes on that one. And then last but not least, you just recorded your vote here. So thank y'all. Did we miss anyone?